All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are tuning in here live. We got on the phone. I for some reason, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot get my phone to load my page right now. Maybe it's being flooded right now and and I can't load it on my phone. But I was gonna try. Oh, here we go. Finally, I was gonna try to share this feed around because I think today's talk's gonna be something very, very interesting. It's gonna be multi-purposeful. A lot of people can take things away from it. A lot of people can hear what they want to hear. And of course, Johnathan, you're on the line. Give everybody a big hi. Make sure everybody knows you're there. You know, I ain't tricking everybody. But
That real, the real dude is
the
here.
Expo hero is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, what do you? We were just kind of hinting at that a little bit. What do you think of that Expo hero label? And it was kind of the guy was saying, you know, you don't get a lot of credit for the things that you do at the Chili Bowl and, you know, these big events that happen every year in the Expo Center. You know, you kind of don't get the credit. What's up with that?
Well, like we just mentioned, I think I got jinxed by that brand name, but obviously it's neat to know that people think of me or haven't forgotten about some of the things that I've accomplished and come up with that nickname. I'll definitely wear it proudly whenever I get to hold another driller up.
Now, I got a picture up, ladies and gentlemen, so nobody freaks out. The picture on the right here, I got a Johnathan Beason. It's Johnathan Beason, I believe, with you and your sons racing a little bit over there, or who's this little kid with you in this picture?
That's my middle son. I got to
Middle
get
son.
on.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
But I just want to make sure everybody knows this was not taken this year because it's in the expo center without a mask. You know,
yeah.
there's not, that's I'm just wanting people to see what some of these people look like because honestly, watching the broadcast, if it was like your first time tuning in to watch this and you were maybe trying to see some people, like you could see them race, but once they got out and got the interview on, you know, you don't know what they look like at all. You know, it was kind of creepy, kind of weird. They're doing what they have to do to keep the thing going. I understand that it's very limited, but I'm just explaining why I have this picture up of Johnathan Beason the way that I do. I want people to see him, and obviously he's got the mullet there. The one on the left is from this year with the 10B car, and you don't have the mullet. So there's some more reference to he did not have his mask and not on at the Chili Bowl, or at the Tulsa Shootout. What did you feel about that? How odd was that being there at the Chili Bowl and that occurring with the whole mask situation? Was it a little weird?
Yeah. I mean, it's, hey, I've been fortunate enough where we live at that it has been a little looser, and and we don't require them at where our business that we own. We take other precautions, but so that was really the first time I had to wear one that much, and I tried to obey it as best I could, as everybody did, and uh, kind of annoying, but it just stinks. You really couldn't tell, people that you look forward to seeing every year, who the heck they were. They come up to you and, you get a foot away from you before you could figure it out because, there's half of their face is missing. So otherwise, I mean, obviously we all did what we had to do to get that race in, and uh, obviously would much rather had not have been that way, but we all want to race, so we all did what we had to do to make it
Well,
happen.
I made a joke last night, you know, at the end of my live, and I don't know how many people caught it. But I said, you know, everybody's worried about getting the sickness of COVID-19 or whatever, all these masks and stuff like that. I said, what we really need to be worried about is the sickness in these calls being made right now. That's what's really affecting. That's the disease in the expo center right now. Is these recent calls. Now, I went ahead threw the video up. FlowRacing.com did a great racing broadcast. What in the world happened? We'll just go straight into it. What in the world is going through your mind? Because, I mean, we have seen this situation kind of play out. People getting little runs at least, you know, ducking the nose under, ducking the nose high. We're seeing Joe B. Miller after it occurred. They threw the caution again because they were going to put you back, and we're watching it right now on the screen. I know you can't see it. They're pointing you to go back 2 spots. Everybody in the building, I'm assuming, is reacting with a what the fuck reaction. Obviously, this is the Chaz show, so we ain't got to worry about censorship. But you see on the start, it looks like on that second restart, after they put you back 2 spots, the car, Joe B was laying over so bad, you basically had to stop the car from passing him again. It looked like.
Yeah. I think obviously it was worse that time, but here I am trying to do no wrong, as I didn't know I was, and that all but killed any shot to get to Mitch. Now, obviously, he did a great race, so we're not going to take anything away from Mitchell.
No.
But yeah, so going through my mind back to the original deals, I've spent 40 laps behind them. I'm trying to figure out where I'm better, making the adjustments on my car. There was a couple times I could have been more aggressive, but I'm not that type of driver.
Right, you're always kind of smooth and calculating in what you're going to do. That's how you're able to do and be successful. You don't really wreck a lot of cars. You don't get caught up in a lot of mess. That's how you got to drive is a little bit smooth and thoughtful behind the wheel of the car.
Well, normally I fix all my own stuff, so that goes into some aspect. But I want to be beat fair and square. No slide jobs or run over. So I'm pretty respectful when it comes to that. If somebody's going to race by me, then damn it, they deserve to beat me. But so I'm trying to figure that out. And then we have the restart, and restarts are important. That's what everybody wants to see, in my opinion, is that puts the race back tighter, or whatever everybody's thinking. All right, what's going to happen on this restart? And that's what anybody in second place is wanting to restart, and Joe B's not wanting one. And so of course, he takes us to the bottom of the track, and I had been kind of staying low through my racing lives. Really, I just kind of came out of there and I'm being just as defensive for somebody behind me, and he's really just not going very fast. And obviously I want to seize any opportunity that's given to me, I think, as any race car driver would done. And
at that point, you judging by some of the calls, you could have just went through the infield there. I mean, that's what I'm looking at. I mean, why did you not go through the infield? I mean, obviously everybody in the building sees it as legal now.
Yeah. There's a damn cone there, right?
Well, no. Entering one when he's pushing you into the damn berm, you could have just tilted her off in there and went through 1 and 2 and pulled away by a half track, and it's fine.
Yeah, I know. I would have kept us from bumping wheels, I guess.
Right.
But I thought that's what people like to see.
I mean, I did too. I still have no clue, in a way, why this was called the way that it was called. And another thing I said last night, you had the Bell situation on Friday. You had your situation, or I think the Bell situation was on Thursday, actually. You had your no, it's Friday, qualifiers and all that, and then you had your situation on Saturday. Well, you had 2 big deals going on, but these calls are big deals. This is serious stuff, and I made this suggestion in my live. In football, when an officiating crew is not getting stuff done correctly, they put in some other people to do it. I mean, these are some pretty big calls that were blown that were very impactful, and the Chris Bell deal was just blatant. And it seems like there is some, and I mean, I'm from the South, grudges can hang around a long time, or not liking this guy or favoring that guy can hang along for a long time. Hell, there's people down there racing that, hate this other guy, never even talked to him in 30 years because he ran him over in a heat race back in the 80s or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, what's up? You as a racer, obviously, Mitchell Moles, he kind of acknowledged in his post-race, about how you get some unfair calls all the time in the Expo Center, it seems like.
Yeah, following last year, I would thought that I didn't think everything was fair, and I'll throw this out there. I think I enjoy the Hans. They're I'm friends of them. The Wards.
They do an amazing job. Matt Ward's one of the best out there.
Yeah, so we'll put that out there. Otherwise, last year I think where some of those thoughts from my mind came up were some calls that last year I didn't think were 100% right. And it just, of course, when it's you think you're getting singled out. I think anybody would feel that way. As to the reason why I would feel that, I don't know. I don't think I do anything wrong.
Well, I know, and this is why I was saying also, I don't know really who to blame in the officiating side, because usually it's not one person making these choices. Usually it's not one person making the decision. I know an official right now texting me when it happened, after it happened. He said when it came over the radio, he pulled his headset off and just started walking away. He couldn't believe it. So there's people in the building on the crews that can't believe what's happening either.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. Like I said, I think anybody that watches that race and they don't dock me the spots, I don't think anybody comes up and complains about that race.
No.
I think
versus if you're comparing to Bill, especially.
Well, yeah.
Jeez.
And I think the world of Christopher Bell. I think he's a great driver. I don't think that obviously should have went down the way it was. And if they asked multiple, they had to have seen it. And if the one person that makes that call that supposedly didn't see it, you got to lean on some of your other officials,
your other peers,
to say, hey, that really happened. And that's, now if they're heroes, if that's their hero, then I guess they might change their opinion if they.
Right, their favorite driver or something like that.
And that stuff can happen in any probably level of deal, or especially at maybe the level that.
Yeah, but I mean, this kind of stuff wouldn't get away in other forms of motorsports or sports sometimes,
Yeah, you wouldn't think.
Maybe this is this unprofessional aspect that is still lingering in racing that's not really out there, and I mean, I still think there's some of that going on in NASCAR, but technically there's not. They got a governing body over what they do, but especially stuff like this ain't happening in NFL, NBA situations, big professional sports, even your local high school and stuff. There's not supposed to be this favoritism. Although I guess you could say people threw games for money purposes and betting, but that's a whole nother world.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother.
I didn't get paid to do that move that I did.
Right, or did you? Did you do? Oh, hold on now. Now the conspiracy theory's definitely here. Did you do that on purpose?
Texas Roadhouse tonight with all my winnings.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, if you would have won the race, you definitely would have been a rich man going home with $1,000. We won't talk about anybody getting robbed. It's the winner. Jesus Christ. Well, let's not talk about that 10 grand at the Chili Bowl. Oh man.
Yeah, as long as we show up, I can't blame him for not changing it. So
now there was some other people who actually had some comments. I saw where Keith Coons actually threw in. Did you see where Coons commented on the situation?
Yeah.
I got his quote right here. I'll read it off to you. He said, and for those listening, Keith Coons was there, and this is off of speedsport.com. They do great work. If they want cars to stay in line at the cone, then they should have to stay nose to tail coming to the cone. If someone wants to get out of line, then fill the gap. It's their loss. In Beason's situation, yours, after a couple of laps, it was evident that Joe B had an issue that began at the restart. At that point, it should have been a no call, no yellow. That's his perspective on the situation. I mean, that's pretty accurate to me, and I think anyone in the building could see the damn same.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's tough to make that call. My suggestion, everybody always pulls out of line, so you never know. Okay, they sit there and say, "Hey, fall nose to tail, don't break out of line." Everybody does it. Nothing gets done about it.
Yeah, I saw what you did multiple times throughout the entire week. I don't want to comb through it and pull out 100 different segments and be a douchebag, but. Me and you, we both watched it. Obviously, you were there. I was watching on Flow a lot. We saw what happened with you and Joby Miller throughout the week, without the guy having motor issues, without any of that. A guy getting a little run and poking the nose to get into one under somebody. We seen that. I think we can both acknowledge that happened all week.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the spotlight's on us up at the front, so that's going to make it that much easier probably to see versus the guys back at second or third or fifth or 10th.
Well, just like Ben Worth versus Chris Bell, apparently they were saying that Ben Worth had cut through the infield and they docked him 2 spots.
Yeah, I didn't see that incident, but
I didn't. That was what the
you didn't have any
broadcaster said.
you didn't have any cameras on his car like Bell did.
Exactly, exactly. But still, it was so blatant. It was pretty bad. At the same time, now you see the thing with why I don't understand. Most of the time, you hear people like even when the Bell thing went down, they were saying, "Oh, it's an Oklahoma deal. They favor their Oklahoma boys." You're from Oklahoma, correct? I mean, you're kind of this local joker, but I'll tell you what, honestly, what happened? What crossed through my damn mind when I saw the favoritism of Bell and then the mistreatment of you? What crossed my mind, I'm about to put it on the damn screen right now, and you may get mad at me for showing this clip, but this may actually draw some, we might have 2 dots and we might have a line right here. I'm clicking back to a race in March of 2019 at the Port City Raceway. I don't know if you remember these laps, but they're on the screen. Coming to the checkered flag, Mr. Superstar Chris Bell's running the top and you're running the bottom, and you do what you need to do to win. And you pick up the win. Now, there was some Facebook wars, if I remember correctly, after this occurred. Do you remember this instance when you Bell had the issue here at Port City?
Oh, yeah.
Now, if Chris Bell is this golden boy, you might have just became public enemy number 1 when this occurred.
Yeah, I can't imagine that would have this race should have any impact on the shootout or Chili Bowl.
Well, if you think about why people may be a little mean to you, because like you said, you didn't have no issues until, shootout last year. That would be post this incident.
Yeah, but
I mean, there's a lot of the people, we know that this racing world is very click-based, click-oriented.
Yeah.
So I mean, if Bell's a part of some clique that may have some pull, which I'm sure he is somewhere out there, may not be the Hans, but if they're their favorite driver and this occurred, all of a sudden they may not like you anymore.
Well, I'm sure there's some people that don't like me after that.
and after that, if I remember correctly, the Facebook wars were very interesting between you and Bell, because like I said, you're the regular guy. You are this, they made fun of you, said you mow yards or something like that. I'm sure you cut grass every now and then. But, I mean, you are this guy who's a worker 9 to 5. How old are you? 22? With your mullet here, you're looking at least 19 probably in that one.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah. How old are you, Johnathan, for the watchers out there?
Well, I might be the oldest damn guy in the expo.
How old are you?
32.
32. You're younger than me, bro. I'm 33. So look at it. You're a regular guy. You got to where you are. You're 33 years old. You're working for a living. You're building your race cars. You got to work on them. You're the expo damn hero. And here's this other guy, didn't have too much money, but got the support, the opportunity that all these other people don't get, and became a big famous name, So I think there's something playing there. It's weird to me that the Johnathan Beason's not the hero of the racing world, and it's the other way around. You touch wheels, get a little nose under somebody, and that's bad. He goes through the infield, that's good. I'm thinking, hey, in this click-based world, man, I don't know who all's making the decision. You may be public enemy number 1 after that Port City incident. I think what happened on Facebook with the Bells after that. I know we ain't going to down that road too much, but it wasn't pretty from my remembrance. I mean, it was pretty bad there after that occurred.
You're saying the Facebook stuff?
Yeah, the Facebook stuff. It was pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, obviously some people can handle that type of stuff better than others as far as their emotions, and some of those people didn't. But yeah, I mean, there were some shots fired. Nothing by me that I believe. I just told my story how I was sitting in the car and felt it and remembered it, and that was all I really ever said. But so I think I had a lot of people on my side, and the few people weren't. But
well, and this is very interesting. Almost, the whole situation. You're racing for the win. You're trying to beat somebody. I just remember that happened. And I know that especially up there, Port City, Tulsa, Creek County area, that's a very big clique based area, and there's a lot of people in powerful positions at the expo center that are in that clique, so I don't know if that played a factor, but I was curious on your opinion on, do you think maybe that could be playing a factor on why a Bell gets a pass and you don't?
Yeah, I hope not. But I mean, not who knows. I'm gonna definitely get on with my life over it, and racing is not my.
That is such the politically correct answer. I know you, Johnathan. What the hell are you really thinking? You are pissed off. There's no way. You can't sit here and tell me that. There's no way. Get on with your life and all that. Well, memories happen every moment, So I mean, you got to be way more upset about this than what you're saying right now. I know there's no way to go back and fix it, but what happened? And this is what I was saying when Bell did what he did, and I raised hell about it. I wasn't saying it, and I was talking to Maverick Elkins. I was like, I'm not really raising hell for you in a particular sense, but I'm talking about it the way I'm talking about it, so next time it happens, they don't show that favoritism. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's whatever, how you react now is going to affect what happens the next time the same thing occurs. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, I know you're going to give, the closest you can get to politically correct. I mean, you sell the damn lawnmowers or whatever, right? So you're a salesman. You're trying to sell this situation as you're okay. I just don't believe the damn thing.
Well, I think you're probably correct. But at the same time, I mean, I can't change it. I'm not, that damn driller's not in my living room right now and, oohing and on over it. But so I think that's where I can be like, I mean, I'm pissed, but what the fuck is being pissed right now going to do for me? Now I need to figure out how to not get pissed, on a chili bowl.
Well, yeah, let's talk about the chili bowl a little bit. Are you going to be back in the Hard 8 car?
Yep, same team. We do have, we are getting a different motor this year, so we'll be running a Toyota.
Oh, what have you had in there the years past?
We have been an Esslinger team for quite some years. We had good luck with them, but we have kind of had to break that mold and try something different.
Well, Toyota obviously is the hot ticket when it comes to the motor department in this midget world. Somebody I'm actually going to have it on the talk show this week. I got a few actually lined up. Shane Stewart, funny. That we just talked about, Port City. Apparently he's taking it over, so I'll be having him on this week. I'll be having Chase Johnson, and then another guy, if we want to talk about motors just a little bit, Ethan Mitchell. Ethan Mitchell's the guy who's getting these Hondas, I think it is, going. Kicking some ass with them. What's your opinion on that Honda situation, or is it just so scarce you can't really judge it just yet?
Well, I'm in the local midget scene just because I'm not racing all the time, but I have raced him a few times, and I know from all that I can tell is it's super fast. I think they maybe had some reliability issues, but I'm sure whoever they've got on there is obviously pretty intelligent, so they'll figure out how to keep that thing.
Well, and I was talking to Ethan Mitchell about that. More than likely, the reason the Toyotas are so well built and have the reliability is because they have the manufacturer support. They got that manufacturer support to make sure that they have a well operable midget program so that they can rent out 300,000 a year midgets and then trucks and all that. They use these midgets to get little kids and the rich parents to go after this movie star-esque dream of being a cup star. And I was telling Ethan that, and I was like, I asked him, did you ever reach out to Honda to do something similar? And they were kind of in the middle, and Honda's kind of been talking to, I think, NASCAR to bring in a group there and add Honda to one of their manufacturers in NASCAR. And I said, once that happens, they're going to knock down your door, because then they're going to need midgets, because the system is set in place right now with Toyota. You have midgets to get the kids into the front door to get used to paying a bunch of money to become a racing star. and then they have their system that only a few people can actually do, that requires 10 to 15, probably 20 million when you account the quarter midgets all the way to a cup ride. You need 15 to 20, probably close to $30 million to really give an honest shot, your little kid, to a NASCAR ride. But I think that's when you'd see other actual motor, people for four-cylinder racing, like a Honda or Toyota, actually get into the sport, is when they get into NASCAR, just for the simple fact to develop drivers and get people and get parents used to paying a bunch of money.
Yeah, the Toyota was quite a bit more expensive than the S-Slinger, so we're hoping it makes a difference.
What is your opinion on the racing world a little bit? How do you feel about it? You're 32, but you're still a badass. But obviously, going to Cup ain't a big opening for that style of racer. They don't want that style of racer. They don't really want racers. They want rich people who can drive, or rich kids who can drive. It's always weird how they use kids for the sympathy side, make sure it's all heartfelt. But what do you think the world for a 32-year-old dirt driver who's got some badass talent? What should be your personal goals, for one, and then what do you think on the opinion of how the fans should be viewing a Johnathan Beason? I always say this is why I went after the Larson and Bell situations. It's the fans probably more so to blame that place a NASCAR driver or something like that on such a high status level that these other guys who have to work for the financials to afford, a midget. How much was that motor, that Toyota motor?
It was up for close to
$50,000. Do you know how many people in the world can earn $50,000 of expendable income just in the motor? There's not a lot of them. So for a regular kid who ain't given these crazy opportunities, the 6 or 7 every year that do, it takes time to build that money up. And you could be a Tom Brady. There just ain't no realistic draft of talent. There's realistic draft of money and talent, that combo, but you can't just be a hard-working, talented driver anymore and get any respect because of the cost. It seems like the fans are kind of the problem in this racing world because they don't really give you that high status mark if you're a badass dirt racer versus if you're this, system driver who goes to cup racing. I think it's a fan issue. The fans are not idolizing our dirt racers like they should be.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I've obviously happily to be associated with people that help me spend some of to get the right tools. So, I don't think if I had my personally owned midget, it probably wouldn't be able to have a Toyota in it.
Right. Well, that just adds to my question, because that means, or adds to the whole discussion is not everyone has the millions to go do that. They may only have 100,000 or collaborative effort or something like that. That's still a lot of damn money. The guy could still be a Tom Brady, Yeah,
I think when, looking at the way to get to NASCAR or a guy that's a normal dude that's got the talent, I think there is a spot in those forms of, the higher forms of racing, but there's not enough spots. When you see it, Larson and a Bell, who are obviously talented, very talented, and they maybe didn't have money. I don't know, from what I believe or what I know, they didn't buy their way in there, but they're, they were enough
constituents were able to get them in there.
Possibly, yeah.
You said higher form of racing. Don't you think that stigma is also an issue as well? I would say that the Tulsa Shootout A main right there is a harder, higher form difficulty level to win that race than you're going to have at Daytona here in a few months with the Cup Series, when there's only about 8 cars that financially have a chance to win.
Yeah, there's obviously, all 24 of those cars in that feature, could have done it, if the stars aligned. So there's obviously the competition is way closer than NASCAR. I think it's just because of the, people view NASCAR like they do your NFL, and
right,
and
yeah.
that those people are their heroes. and that's cool to have something like that to grasp onto, but I don't know that.
Isn't it
Obviously,
weird how NASCAR's almost manipulated dirt fans into treating dirt racing as a college? And then we cheer our person that gets drafted by them like he's from our, like we're an alumni member. Does that make any sense? It's almost like they've treated it like a college system and the fans have bought it as well.
yeah, I mean, it very well could be. It's a lower, I'm not into football, so some of these analogies,
College,
I,
AAA,
I,
MLB,
I,
whatever you want to call it. I
I
just
love
meant like
college.
college, like
I
it's a
hate,
sector of it's a sector of a lower form, and then like in college, if you went to University of Texas and somebody goes from University of Texas to a football team and is successful, everyone at that university loves them so much just because they're from the university. Just like in racing, that's what it's a great analogy because it's just like we're all in dirt, and the one guy who gets drafted to NASCAR, everyone in dirt loves that guy more just because he's from dirt.
yeah,
It neglects everyone else who just didn't have these opportunities. Well, I think it's a great, and that goes right back to you saying they got the perception of an NFL, which it's definitely not. You can't pay $10 million to be the starting quarterback next year at the Cowboys. Although after today's game, you might as well be. But I mean, you can't do that. You can't buy your way in any form or fashion to a starting role in a professional league of sports, except NASCAR.
yeah. No, and I've always kind of thought, you look at some of these kids that have the money, and you take like the guys, like and I don't know, I'm just going to throw this out for an analogy, but like a Casey Kane, obviously he's good, he's got the following, but then they can come in and pay a kid, probably like a guy like me, I'd go do all those races for 100,000 a year, and that guy was making 5 million plus. They could easily make a lot more money and go the other route.
Now, do you think the drivers are making money, or are you more so saying the teams?
I think the teams, I think the owners,
Right.
you
The rent a ride system from the bottom to the
yeah,
top.
however it works. I mean, because you've lost some of a lot of those good drivers. Now these younger kids will go in and probably get the same results. They're decent, and I think NASCAR is maybe easier to do than dirt, and maybe Larson and Bill could maybe agree to that to some degree.
Well, I
And
mean, you look
obviously
at Christopher Bell. Well, you got to also account, Jonathan. We're talking about this. In those cars, it's really the ride more than the rider.
yeah,
I said a good thing a couple years ago. I said in dirt racing you drive the cars, and in NASCAR you ride in them. And a great example of that, car quality can make a regular average driver look like a superstar, and a bad car can make a superstar look like a joke. You look at
yeah,
Christopher Bell. We know how badass Christopher Bell is. I mean, driver wise. In Xfinity, he was winning everything you could throw at him. He went to Cup this year in a subpar car. He was averaging a 22nd place finish.
yeah.
That's not the driver. That's the car.
Yeah,
And Larson probably would have dominated Cup if he was in a top tier Chevy team, which I think he's in now, obviously. But the whole system of racing is something that needs to kind of get exposed, and I think it starts with the fans. Ignorance of the public is a big deal. I remember my second year to the Chili Bowl. I went and got my hair cut down there across the way. I believe it's from a Tractor Supply, right over there behind that little pool slide place. And the person cut my hair. What are you doing here for? And I said, well, I'm here for the Chili Bowl. And she goes, what's that? That's pathetic. That should make a lot of people mad. And they ask why our stars don't get no attention and the sport suffers and all this and that. That might be, issue number one, is no one knows what it even is. And then issue number two is you're not going to fix that by going out there and agreeing that you're some lower form where 14-year-old kids come out and learn how to drive. I think dirt racing's where, grown men who's had to bust their ass have worked to build their cars and get to this level of sport. and this level of sport is professional. You know, as far as talent, for sure. And there may be some unprofessional idiots out there running their mouth, but hey, you know, it's sports entertainment at the end of the day. We need some Stone Colds and Rocks out here to put on a little bit of a show, you know. But I think this is a higher form of motorsports than anything in America. I don't think you could find another form of motorsports with the equality of race cars, especially micros. You know, it's so strong in there because you can only put so much in them. But dirt racing across the board, there's so many people in it. The cost is low, so a lot more people can compete. I mean, I think this should be pushed as, you know, the greatest form of motorsports in America, especially when it comes to competitive, talented level. Oh, did I lose you?
No, you're here. I'm just taking. I mean, I can agree. I mean, there's a lot of good drivers out there this past week, and not probably there may be 4 or 5 that, not even that, maybe that would ever even sniff NASCAR.
Right. You know, and I was getting mad with the Bell deal because that Maverick Elkins or whatever, I was screaming, I was saying, he don't have, you know, Bell can go and, rent out a Keith Coons ride for $100,000 a year, or build a midget ride at the Chili Bowl for $100,000, or rent out a ride for 15. But Maverick Elkins, all he's got is 30. You know, all he's got $30,000 in this micro, but he's able to show what he's got against Bell because he's brought him down to an even playing field. You know, I think that's why micros are so competitive, is you can only put so much money in those cars.
Yeah, I think it's good for a guy like Bill to come back there and not dominate.
Right.
You know, obviously he sure wanted to do better than he did, but I think it's great if people could if his NASCAR fans paid any attention to that, be like, hey, this guy's human. there might be other people that beat him, and some of those people are going to be like, oh, well, that person beat him.
Well, it definitely don't help the Larson Bell debate. You know, I was somebody who said, you know, Larson and Bell equal playing field up until this, you know, obviously this year, Larson did some insane things out there in the winged sprint car world. Why? Who knows? By the way, I want to give a big shout out to JVI. But who knows why he did what he did? Talent is one thing, but I think Paul Silva, in my opinion, deserves a lot of credit because I watched the same driver not make the A on his qualifying night last year, get beat up and down California by some, you know, West Coasters, perform good, but not dominant forever. And then all of a sudden 46 wins and dominates everything in the world. I think car quality changed a lot in that, more so than car driver. But this recent, you know, Bell got handed pretty hard here at the shootout. I mean, he competed, I think, for the non-wing stock. I think he did a little. I think it was that race, but
I think it was. Yeah, I think he had a decent showing. He passed some cars in the outlaw non-wing because I had pulled off early to kind of preserve my car, and then I watched him in I can't even remember. It might have been A-class wing or not.
Right.
But he had a decent runs, but you know, some people were probably expecting way more too.
Right, but that's just the strength of the micro field.
Yep.
The micro field, like, and I keep referencing this with Larson too, when he came and ran the USAC midget swing out here in PA at Action Track. He ran second to Zeb Wise, great race, and then in the micros he couldn't make the A main. And I was trying to tell people the reason that is you need $100,000 in that midget to be out there racing. You don't need that in that micro. Therefore, the competition is going to be just a little bit higher because the pay level is lower. You know, so more people can be out there on the field, you know, and display what kind of talent they actually got. There's not that pay wall as much in the micro racing scene, I don't think.
Yeah, and there was more micro races that paid over $5,000 this year than there were midget races.
I think there's a big debate if you put if you put a 410 World of Outlaw team and go out and win a lot like Larson did versus if you put a good wing or micro program together and go win all the big races. I think you're going to come out more positive in how much you spent to what you won, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know, Because there's 20,000 to win like 2 or 3 times, ain't there, for the micros?
I think there was 120, and I didn't follow it. I didn't do any of them. I hadn't ran a micro since last year's shootout.
But you keep up with them. Obviously, your area is a pretty big scene.
It's a hotbed. So I got some some close friends, Frank Flood and KJ Snow, that I keep up with and watching how they do. But yeah, I think they had a 20,000. They had
and there's 10s and 5s everywhere.
Oh yeah, 75s, 12s. So and I think the biggest paying midget race is the Chili Bowl, and there was one other race. I think.
I think that would have been the Placerville 100 was going to be.
That was supposed, and that was a big deal. But and how not wanting to talk about Chili Bowl's pay, but they can throw that one race together and pay whatever it was. And but
interesting. We talk about micros a little bit. What do you think of this 10J deal? Obviously, it's a West Coast deal. You don't see too many of them out there across the country. They're starting to branch out a little bit. Obviously, Jared does a hell of a job. What do you think about them? It does look like they drive a little bit different than some of the other cars out there. And isn't that a test to how they have the suspension set up on the car?
Yeah, so Jared and Shaggy is what we all call him. His name's Sean, but everybody knows him as Shaggy.
He's the guy with the glasses that beat that dude up last year.
Yeah, I might have been. I didn't see that.
I was interested this year on the fights. I was like, how are y'all going to enforce 6 feet distance with a right cross to the jaw? How are you going to enforce that? I don't know. I don't understand. Anyway, keep going.
I think I do remember that because you were around our pits there.
Yeah, I was there. I was there causing all the drama. Yes. But
they're great guys. I mean, so, that type of car, I don't know how much detail we can go in and what, if anybody even knows, but it's a 4-bar ladder car. It's I guess close as a sprint car as you can make it. Then there's some other cars that have coilovers, more like a midget on the front, and then
the hypers are wishbone, right?
Hypers, they're like a mix. Those are things that they've gotten really fast lately. I mean, you could come here 6 or 7 years ago with a hyper, and if you made the feature, you were getting applauded. And now, they're up there. Up everybody's ass, and try, so they're tough. But so this 10J, I'd never sat in one, I've ran a car one time similar to that 6 years ago. And then last year was the first time I stepped in it and go and, and finish second, obviously at the shootout. And then this year, don't see a car again until then. I'm hop in it and, and instantly is fast. So it's a testament to the car they build, but they're obviously pretty smart. They got all the right pieces in it between the motor, their shock package. Literally, I would give them input and they would make some changes that I thought I kind of wanted to feel, and I never had to adjust. I mean, I moved my wing, but other than that, I just drove it.
And then, of course, it's like the Bentley of micros, too, they call them, They got those Jordan Silva designs on there, and then the dash is all made I think it's all carbon or what?
Yeah, the whole thing's carbon. Yeah, and each car, so they built 5 new cars, I think, for all
I think Dennis Guile was in there helping out.
Yeah, he teaching us how to throw footballs. But Jordan does a heck of a job on the rafts, and the damn dash had my name on it. It's like, and I Snapchatted today, which I'm not friends with you on Snapchat, but Shaggy.
I don't even have it on my phone, so that's not.
Oh well, you're not missing anything. But they sent the car home with me, so I'm gonna have that car hopefully throughout the summer to try to race it more.
Are you going to become like a 10J Midwest or something, or what?
No, I've got too many other problems to deal with than to try to sell race cars. But I think obviously a goal would be maybe if I can make some more laps in that thing before next year's shootout, then maybe I'll be lapping the field. I don't know, but
well, and of course the way you sell race cars is by one of them winning.
Well. So obviously they had a heck of a showing, but I think we'll get that car here. We're going to send the motor back off and get it freshened, and then if somebody's here to buy it, it's going to get sold. And then, I think the plan would be is to build another one as fast as possible and get it out here. And just, I'm not going to race it weekly. But if there's some nice shows that are worth my time and, time away from work, and then we'll be there.
It seems like those style cars sort of struggle when it's slick on the bottom. That's what it seems like when it's super slick on the bottom, non-wing especially.
Yeah, I think that's maybe another reason why they let me take one. That's my plan, is to, when I do run it, is to maybe be able to have a stock motor and run a couple different classes. But you put that wing on there and that thing is, I don't want to say it drives itself, because that's going to take anything away from me. But it's
so. Hold on, now we can say the car is what jumped the start or whatever.
Yeah, not me.
With Johnathan Beason. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense now.
Yeah, just don't let the car have the driller.
And so, Chili Bowl, what are you looking forward to? Obviously, you could name everything that you've done there, but it's pretty much everything but win the damn thing, right?
Yeah, I've won a prelim night, and then I've, finished second last year to Larson on the prelim, and then started fifth in the main and ended up sixth. I've got a fourth place finish in the A main. So, obviously, the couple more goals that I want to check off before I hang up the helmet is, that outlaw driller. I've got a couple other drillers, but that's the headliner. I want that. And I want I'd love to have the Chili Bowl. I think, the Chili Bowl is just as tough. But
now we'll talk about the Chili Bowl, and this was brought up with the 55 lapper when I was watching it with some guys who will have a few cars there actually. How they set that A main track up basically to tours any hope for a underdog to win. When you go green flag, and pretty much what they do to that A main track is why you probably needed that Toyota motor, because when you go A main at that track and it's fresh hot lap ready and sticky tacky, if you ain't got the best damn shocks set up, if you ain't got the best damn traction control, no, I'm just playing. If you ain't got, well, actually I think it's legal, but if you ain't got the best damn soaked tires, no, never mind, sorry. If you ain't got the best of the damn best, motor, everything is right, you ain't going to keep up with Kyle Larson. You ain't going to keep up with Christopher Bell in your little 03 Spike or something with your damn Gertie. It ain't going to happen in your used fucking Pro Shocks or something. That's not possible. So that's why I don't really like it is, the Chili Bowl, it used to have that premise. It's this short little indoor track, slicks off a little bit, and if you ain't got the car really, but you can really drive, you can beat the best in the world. And how they reset that track right now, there's no hope at all for you.
Yeah, you really get about the last 20 laps maybe, and just as you saw at the shootout. I don't know how to do it. That's why I'm not a dirt worker. I'm sure they try really hard to give it the best, and that's just what they're trying to figure out every race is to make it better. So hopefully maybe they learned something here with the shootout that will give us a better Chili Bowl feature that's maybe racier.
Well, it just seems like they've turned that process into a mainstay. It's, I don't know if that's because of TV or what, but
well, I think for the Chili Bowl they definitely maybe get too much time. If the bees or something run fast, and then here they find themselves with an hour to kill before opening ceremonies for the A feature, and then they overthink it. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, you're usually locked into the A main. You're watching these C's and D's and B's that are some of the best racing all week long. Even the E's. The track's widened out. It's slick. There's this big cushion up on the wall. They're banging off the fence. And then you get to this A main, and you really don't even get to that style of track until about 5 to go or something.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not what people pay to see.
But it does make you buy that Toyota motor. It might make you rent out that Keith Coons midget. It might make you do it. Might so. I mean, I'm looking at this from a business aspect as well. There's always hands being shook, but it does do that. I guarantee you, it does do that because your little Gertie and your 03 Spike ain't got no chance.
No.
You ain't got no chance. There ain't no chance for an underdog at that race anymore, and it's because of the track conditions. I think it's a horrible decision.
Yeah, they maybe need to try something different on a prelim night or something and just figure out.
Well, the prelim nights they don't do that, I don't believe.
Yeah, they don't do that heavy, for sure.
Well, I do remember it was like the first and second years I went there. Because I remember a time, of course, they didn't do this always, and I believe it was the year Kevin Swindell won, and it was rubbered up on the bottom for half the race, and it was horrible. That is worse. I'm not look, and maybe I sound like a dumbass because all right, mother, we don't want to work it. Well, look at what we got when we did it. Rubbered up on the bottom, but there's got to be some in between there. There's got to be.
Yeah, that was 2013. I remember that.
That was the one where Sammy gave it to him, in my opinion. But
that was 11.
Oh yeah, that was 11. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because that was when I finished fourth.
Okay.
And that that was the story. That
the funny thing is that you actually agree with my statement that he gave it to him.
Oh yeah. Well, I was behind Sammy for a long time. And I felt like he was doing everything he could because that would have been Kevin's second in a row in 11, I think, and Sammy
and then
was doing
13 would have been the 4.
Yeah, he was doing everything he could to keep him from anybody from getting to him.
Right.
So,
and really, you ain't seen those Swindell cars look that great ever since then. Maybe they had something figured out for that, superiorly wore out track rubbered up.
They were definitely ahead of everybody, and I think obviously with the absence of Kevin, we're not racing anymore. I don't think. I mean, Sammy's still fast, but I don't. He's 60 years old, I think. And not. I would have to think things aren't going to be working as well for me, or things are moving, and I could be wrong. But Kevin is obviously missed, and who knows what more he could be doing if he was still able to run.
Right, yeah. But when I talked to Keith last year, we were talking about that innovation in the cars, and he straight out said it, there was some stuff they were doing that, was beating them with the cars, and then, the Swindell dominance of those style cars they were building kind of did end when they went to this rework the track situation, Maybe they just had something figured out there. I don't know, but
Heath has got, out of everybody there, he's got the most opportunities to figure it out, and it's going to be always hard to beat him because he's got 7 cars a week or more, and then he's going to catch on. He's got way more opportunities to get it right.
Well, what? Talk about Sammy there. The one thing a Sammy had, probably a you had on a bunch of people. Was laps on that track, because you can't get laps at that track. It ain't like Port City or any other racetrack where you can go run a Saturday night event. You are blind going in there if it's your first time, no matter how good you are. But now, because of this thing called iRacing, a little damn 14-year-old rich kid, can sit there and turn 1,000,000 laps at the Chili Bowl and know every little place to be. And if and the track used to be built inconsistently, so that you would be like, oh, well, it's not built the same every year. Well, last year it was a little off, and they went based on the iRacing scan model to make sure the track was the same. What do you think about that? What do you think about now with this iRacing? You got people coming in there who know where to be and at least know what it looks like. And everything like that. Not necessarily new drivers, experienced drivers too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an iRacer, so to be honest, I've done it a few times, but I wasn't any good. But so I don't know if it can, play into that well. I'm sure it can. because when I did do it a long time ago, I loved the road racing part of iRacing.
Right. That's why Dale Earnhardt Jr. sold sim racing back in the day, basically, because he said it's why he gained almost a second at his times at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, that for sure. I think, and that's where I would think now the dirt racing. I mean, unless you've got a badass sim, which I don't, I think it would be hard to gain much. I mean, I don't know, maybe.
It's just the visual aspect, though. You think about prior to someone never going in there, it's a completely different look being in that building. It's a completely different look than any other racetrack out there, pretty much. The berm, all this stuff. You don't get to practice any of that prior to iRacing. Now you can literally go and turn thousands of laps and see where you may want to turn in, all this stuff, these marks you can actually work on now that you would have been blind to without it.
They may be doing that. I wouldn't know. If it is that great, then that's obviously amazing technology.
Well, it's laser scanned. I mean, it's like $1 billion deal that they go in there and they laser scan everything. Their asphalt tracks are superiorly amazing, just because every bump, crack, everything on the racetrack shape-wise is there because the scans, asphalt never changes. Obviously, dirt does. So it'd be hard to get the surface the same. But I still think, the layout, just the visual, freshness that you would have to go through prior to iRacing. If it's your first time there, now all of a sudden you don't. You don't have that. And I'm not saying for some new little kid necessarily, but say you're some really good driver, you just never went, and now you finally got a ride or something to go. It could knock a lot of that learning curve out of the picture, just learning the shape of the track.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that very well could be. I don't have it, so I wouldn't.
Hey, I'm not a big iRacer. I just don't like that aspect, honestly. I honestly don't like it, personally. But I like real racing. That's my problem, apparently.
Yeah, got plenty of, probably have some of the most laps at the expo.
I'm just thinking some little kid on iRacing now, he's going to be starting on the inside of you, here in this, your first heat race. We know how big the heat races are. He's going to be inside of your first row, and he's going to go in there thinking it's a little iRacing and just sling it in there wide open and think it's going to stick. And your left front is going to be the casualty. You going to blame iRacing or you going to blame him?
I'm going to blame him.
No, don't do it. Blame the video games. Blame the video games. That's what I would do.
No, I've got a lot of, obviously real laps there since 2001 was the first time I ran there. That's when I got my first driller.
2001, so you had to be what, 15?
No, I was 12.
12. You little rich kid fucker. Don't laugh at yourself now.
Yeah. We had the little flat bed trailer. Actually, you know what? We loaded my car up in the back of a dually that year.
Oh wow, dualies are expensive.
Damn, because we pitted with somebody else, and I remember what was funny is we got the car back to the lawnmower shop the next week, and I don't know what we were doing, but my dad figured out that we'd put the front shocks on backwards in the springs. But we didn't even, so we didn't really know what the heck we were doing back then.
We'll close it out here soon. You got to go cut some lawns tomorrow, according to the Bell family, or what's the deal?
I've got to get the snow off first, maybe, and then I can cut and weed eat.
Okay. Do you have an edger, or do you charge extra for that?
It can be negotiated.
Now, do you got the side scatter mower, or you got the bag mower, or is that extra charge as well?
We got a big Toro zero turn.
Oh, okay. So you're flying around there like you're gliding.
Yeah, I'm doing donuts.
Is that why you had the mullet, so it would like pierce in the wind, like wings behind you, or no?
I don't know why I did it. I think I never had long hair, and I just thought, what the hell? I'm married. Wife can't leave me, if I look ugly or something now. So she'd have to stay with me. So I might as well do it, and I have nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. Okay. if that's how you want to play it. My question to you is obviously Chili Bowl since 2001 or the Expo Center 2001. Chili Bowl though, how do you feel about this COVID face mask thing killing the atmosphere? How do you think that's going to play out? Because it is that weird atmosphere that you kind of get once a year, you know?
Yeah, it's what
and
you wait for every year to fill.
right, and it's just not going to be there now, you know?
Yeah, it's my wife. We were at the races, and she's like, "Man, this is just weird. There's just it just seems dead." I'm like, I was trying to make excuses, like, "Oh no, they're all up in the stands watching." But obviously, I think the car count was down. I don't know how much, but you could tell that was less people, and and maybe those were older people that were more at risk that would normally come that didn't, and that may have been the smartest choice. But definitely for the Chili Bowl, I can't imagine. And I'm going to hope I can sit here and hope it's me, and hopefully I don't pass before the flag to win the Chili Bowl. But when you get out of that car and win Saturday night, you accomplish the same thing, but it's just not going to, I don't believe it could feel like.
It looked like the stands were decently, even though it must have been 25%, it looked like it wasn't, completely empty Saturday at the shootout like you would think. How are I know you probably can't answer this, but I'm still wondering about the rules. I'm planning on being there. If they kick me from the building because I've trashed their officiating crew or whoever's making the call, so be it. I'll sit outside without a mask and enjoy it or something. But I'm more concerned about pit area viewing the race, like the pit area actually viewing the race, because I heard them say the back straightaway will be general admission. Okay, if you're doing 25% general admission, where's the pit people going to sit? Are they going to restrict the people in the pitting area to being in the pitting area only and only have the stand sections available for paying entrance? That's something that's kind of crossed my mind thinking about this Chili Bowl.
I feel like nothing has really came out and been 100% of what it is going to be. So I don't know. I didn't hear anything, but those are all questions I'm asking too. Is how that, or if that they're only going to sell so many pit passes a day, but can everybody buy a pit pass the first day?
Right, all the actual week-long bands.
The normal people. So how are we going to be? Obviously, I want the race to happen, so I want them to figure it out. But it'd be nice to kind of to know, just as to what's going to happen, and maybe they don't know. Maybe it's day by day, and we won't know till Friday or Saturday.
And then how much are they counting? Because I think it said less driver and crew on the 750.
Yeah, again, so I haven't.
How many people are we talking about for crew? How many people are we talking? Is there a sponsorship bracket too? I mean.
Well, yeah, if you leave it open, then everybody's going to sign in as a crew member. So that's obviously, there's no way I don't believe that can be that way. But again, nothing's been said to make anything be concrete.
I would almost say the city don't want to shut it down, but in a sadistic, creepy way. If the city does want some attention, and sometimes negative, you can do it. Obviously, I'm proof of that sometimes, but shutting down the Chili Bowl would definitely get them a lot of attention.
Yeah, boy. Let's hope that's not the case, but I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, and some people enjoy any type of attention, and with this world that we're living in,
that's what I'm saying.
With whether it's the truth or not, whatever they can get out first type of scenario.
Well, I'll tell you what, if that does happen, you won't have to worry about somebody cutting hair across the street not knowing what the hell it is anymore. I'll tell you what.
It's sad, though, that there's people that lived here, been here 30 years for the race. I don't know how many years it is, 30 plus years, that don't know. I mean, they come into our store and, somebody mentions something you don't know. Heck, and our business has been there for almost 40 years, and people still say they don't know where our business is, and they live in our town. And so some people are just, oblivious. And
Well, I think
our,
like in society we're not like interacting as much as we used to.
yeah,
Uh,
you're on our
we
phone.
kind of have the TV tell us, what it is and what isn't, or something like this or that. I think that's why media and independent media is so important. But people just don't interact with the world anymore. They live in their bubbles.
Yep. Well, and COVID is exactly has helped people, or whoever's wanting us to do that has made it, just right up their alley.
I kind of made a joke about COVID. I was like, why are y'all worried about it when really this is kind of how you were before? In a way, you only really went outside for your selective enjoyment. It's not like you were forced, you really didn't go places unless you wanted to. It's a weird deal. I think once this is over, a lot more people are going to want to get out and actually interact. So maybe it's a big ass whooping for everybody or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, we've had some friends that, have suffered losses, and we've had friends, pass away from it, so I hate it for that. But, hopefully maybe this will make people live their lives and maybe enjoy what we have here and enjoy it more.
That is a weird battle, is it not, with this COVID? It is inducing, live your life because you don't know how long it is. But then at the same time, they're saying don't live your life because you might die. You're supposed to live your life, and racing's a great example of that. You're living on the damn edge. You're living on you're swimming with the shark when you're out there going in the 3 at Eldora in a sprint car or something. You're swimming. You're out there playing with something that can kill you.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But that you don't really live life to the fullest if you're not on the edge of death sometimes. And it's weird how we are human beings that literally came from a damn cave and walked out into the jungle against damn tigers with a spear. We literally used to do that, and now we're scared to walk outside without a mask. That I think people have lost touch with who they, how strong human beings are. They're not weak. They're pretty strong. I'm not saying don't be scared of COVID or aware of COVID, but it's clinically studied that what you believe can affect your body.
Oh yeah.
If you think of yourself as weak, you will be weak. If you think you're going to get COVID, you will get COVID. And I also think a lot of people who immediately love to scream that they got COVID are people who are lacking attention. It's almost an attention-getting thing right now to go out and say, I got COVID, in a weird way. You know? It's it's a weird thing where people who may be lacking attention are either changing their gender or they have COVID, That's a loaded one. But I'm just saying, it's a weird situation. But right now, it's still a go. So if you can make it through the shootout, I think we could make it to and through Chili Bowl, hopefully. It's just a weird feeling. And what's going to happen and how it's going to happen is still so many questions I got.
Yeah, I don't know that if they have the answers, I would think they would put them out. So I'm going to guess that, they're not 100% for sure. And they know, I think they're 100% sure it's going to happen, but how it's getting, all the things that take place, maybe aren't together yet.
Right. It'll be interesting. How many people do you have help on your crew? Just you? You do it all, right?
Well, so, I basically take care of the car. I build it. And then, we've got a couple guys. I got my buddies, Dustin and Trent, that are kind of, my bros that come out and, throw some tires on it, throw some fuel. They're part of the Tops Up Here Bud crew. And then Trent's father-in-law, Marty, helps me. And we got Greg, Jason, Tim, and then the car owner for the midgets, John Cantor.
So you got a little bit of a crew.
Yeah, I mean they're all just like me. They all work, and that's why you don't see me run all the time. Is just as we all have lives that we have to live and bills to pay, and racing doesn't pay them. So we get together, 5 to 10 times a year, and we go race.
Yeah, it's That's pretty much how it is. And you know, you perform well. You're kind of like the hired gun for that gig, right?
Yeah, just a typical racing deal. Donnie Ray Crawford was the driver, and obviously he's a great guy. We lost him, and at the time Blake Hahn was running the other driver, but Blake was young, and all they had Blake and Tommy was really just micro experience, and I'd been running the midget, and at my age, I had more responsibilities of taking care of the cars, and at that time with Donnie Ray passing, there wasn't really anybody that knew a bunch about him. So I think whether it be that or any of my performances, I was chosen and was happily accepted to take it on. So then Blake was kind of the old guy, old driver, but I was the one that, just kind of took care of him and knew what to do as far as maintenance and things like that. And really, it's just evolved from there. We were a 2-car team, and since then, finding drivers that, that's the other thing is, as my life progressed, I had kids and became more involved with our family business. I wouldn't be able to take care of 2 cars for somebody. So we then went to just a 1-car team, and then we had been renting a Chili Bowl car out, which is one of my spare cars, is what we normally do.
Who do y'all got this year?
This year we have Jake Neal. I think he's a modified driver from up in Nebraska. I think he's ran it a couple years now. He's been trying to get in one of our cars, I think, both of the years. And between getting the funds that he needed to get together and his sponsors to do it, we'd ended up already renting it. So we had offered him it last year at the Chili Bowl. He accepted, and then my dad and I own our personal car that we just bought a couple years ago, to try to see if, there was a little bit of money to be made, owning a car, and all we do is run it at the Chili Bowl. And this year, one of the kids that works at our store that races micros, Brock Barrett, is going to run it.
And is there any money to be made in that rent-a-ride situation for the regular guy?
I think there is some. This year, I think, was different with COVID. I think, some of those bigger spending renters that, maybe were if they were bucket list guys or what, didn't seem like there was as many of them out there.
A lot of people lost their jobs and their money, too.
So I can't. So this year, I don't think is a profitable year, but they need to run, and the Chili Bowl needs obviously as many cars as they can get.
I ain't even looked at a count recently. Is it? Is it stout or?
I haven't even looked. I think it's low, but I don't know how many to be announced there are, and if those to be announced get filled. But you can spend some money there if you go out and buy all new tires, and there's a couple grand there to really do it. And then I think it just depends on, what you have to offer. I think, myself with Hard 8 Racing, we've got, we can prove that we have the equipment to get it into the A main, if you've got the luck and the skill to put that end of it together. So I think that helps to bring in more money for your cars. If you don't have any of those skills, if you don't have those people that believe they can do it, they're not going to spend that type of money. So there's those people who believe they can do it, and they maybe can, but they probably need a lot more tries than ones.
Right, because, if you have, if you spend $8,500 for a decent car, which is, $8,500 ride could probably get you somewhere up in the A if you do everything perfect.
I would think so.
If you don't go perfect, though, if you add up all the laps you actually take, it's probably around the 38 to 43 lap mark. If you just suck in your heat, you suck in your qualifying main, or D main or C main, whatever, and then you get one main on Saturday. That's not a lot. So
No.
the math is horrible when you take 8,500 and divide it by what 35. I bet some of those. And I'm practicing your hot lap day because they only give you 4 laps
Yeah.
total. Like they give you 2 laps in 2 sessions. You know. So I mean, 8,500 divided by we'll go 38. That's $223 a lap. You know, that's a lot to pay. You know.
Now
so.
that's when a guy makes money on it.
oh yeah, he don't get no laps on his motor, huh? Tires are basically fucking new. You know, you can sell them. Jeez, it's when they roll it. I guess is when they lose.
Generally, the way those deals work, you get a
crash deposit. Yeah. I love the rich kids that spend their crash deposit. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, last year the guy that did it, he tore up a little bit. You know what? And I was like, he finally got better, and I enjoyed watching him get better. We didn't even charge him anything, really. You know what? It wasn't going to cost us that much to fix it. You know, about $500, and I just said, you know what? It was worth seeing the car go forward. So
I'll tell you what. I did me a little racing this last year. We might need to make a deal for next year right now.
How?
I don't know. I don't know if you watched me. I got out there. My 3rd race ever. I almost won in one of those those Excel 600 modifieds in Iowa this year.
You just need to get that thing and come run the shootout and see what type of.
I did too good. They said I did too good. I need to drive something else and move up. Then I went up to New York and ran one of those big modifieds, the Sportsman's big block style cars. But I was running a damn 20-year-old car that was smoking more than my vape. You know, so that didn't work out. But hey, I'm telling you, that'd be a hell of a combo next year. The Chaz and Johnathan Beason, bro.
Maybe.
You talking about must see? The Chaz rolling out on the track next to Kyle Larson in a heat race? Oh, boy. Oh. I'll tell you what. We about to test how high them fences are. I'll tell you that right now. We about to test how high them fences are. Are you? I'm just kidding. Actually, I don't have a problem with Kyle anymore. If it's Bell, he's gone. He's gone. He wants to go through the infield. How about Angels in the outfield for you?
No, Kyle. I mean, I get to talk to Kyle just a little bit, and I think he's a good dude. And me and Bell talked the other night before an opening ceremonies, and I asked him. It was funny not knowing what things were to come, but I was like, "Hey, was that NASCAR's passing the grass last night?" And he kind of just laughed.
I don't know. I think you could tell who somebody is by how they race. I've seen those moves he does sometimes, and it's just like that's an asshole move, you know.
I think everybody's got it in them. It just depends on how often it comes out. Now that it takes a lot to get me to that point, but I can get there. But now it's like, I got way more on the line. I don't want to get hurt.
Well, there's some people who know they're famous enough to get away with stuff, and they don't do it to be fair to the world. And there's some people who just take advantage of everything they're given, So
yeah,
that's how I see it.
You could be right.
We don't know.
I know I don't.
Well, I guess we'll let you go. It's been over 2 hours, almost 2.5, I think. Well, yeah, no, it's been an hour and a half. Not that long. I thought I was dragging you out into the deep.
No, my wife hadn't been hollering for me. It depends on what she's hollering at me for.
We got a fan question. You got time for some fan questions? People are actually questioning. They wanted to talk to you, I guess.
Sure.
Hold on. We'll give you a fan question. If you got something, throw them up there.
There's a lot of stuff that probably, people don't know about me.
Somebody said Chaz and C. Bell. Kick his ass. Anyway, Chaz and Kyle. Oh, see? This is why I need to be in your car. This is the headline. This is what we need right here. No. It says, ask Johnny. He doesn't even know your name. What his favorite shootout moment is.
Everybody calls me Johnny. That's Cody.
Oh, yeah. What's your favorite shootout moment? This is like asking one of the little kids in the junior sprints who can't finish a complete sentence.
There's a couple. What's sad is, I remember my first driller. Donnie Ray's leading it, and I want to say it's just me and him bumper to bumper from what I can remember. And there's like maybe 6 or 10 laps to go, and his motor blows up. Imagine that, somebody's blowing up in front of me. And I think he pulled off the track, and I led the rest of the way and won. Obviously, there was when was it? 2014. I started on pole of one of the non-wing races, and I got turned around like on a restart. And there we go with a restart cone again. There was a cone, and I remember I was running the bottom, and Tyler Thomas was behind me. And I'm sure this is what everybody's wanting me to talk about. That's still.
Oh no! What is it? What happened?
So I'm leading it. I've probably run like 5 laps on the bottom, or maybe less. But I'm pretty committed to the bottom. And it's Tyler Thomas behind me. So we take off on the bottom, and there's a cone out there, and of course, I got to get around this cone, and this cone is a lot further up on the track. I'm pretty sure that year. Don't have the tape measure, but so to get around that cone and get back down to the bottom, I've got to give a lot of wheel, and I also got to slow down because the track's slicker and shit. So I'm turning around that cone, and Tyler just spins me out right in front of everybody. And this is back to some of those officiating calls that sometimes are there and sometimes aren't. This year I never saw the restart violation, but I did see people clearly get spun out, and I felt like there was the right calls made on some of those cases. Well, here I am spun out in front of 24 cars, 23, and I go to the back and nobody goes back there with me. And I'm pissed because pretty sure it was pretty damn clear that I just got spun around, and here he's not going back there with me. So I slow down on the restart, and I look across. I know who it is by seeing who's across the track, and it's Tyler Thomas. So I'm waiting on we're going green. I'm slowing up. I'm like trying not to slow up too much, but I'm wanting to get lapped.
Oh no.
And my wife just tells me to hurry up, but there's a lot of details. I gotta go what's through my head. But
she's telling you to leave. The wife is taking over.
No, she's telling me to hurry my story up.
Oh, okay. Keep going then. Hurry up. What the hell?
So we go like 10 laps, and they're just about to catch me, and the yellow comes out. So now there's not but like 10 laps left. I'm like, I don't think I can. Now I got to slow up even more because, and I had a car that probably could go back, but I wasn't going to win, but I could pass some cars. And so sure enough, I get past, and it's not Tyler Thomas. So I'm smart enough to know that the guy leading it is not, who spun me out. So I'm just waiting. I'm running the top, and the next thing, here I see Tyler down the corner of my eye pass me on the bottom, and he runs the bottom. I come down and I spun him out. So I got lapped, and I didn't tear up anybody's equipment, didn't tear up his. I just lightly tapped him and spun around. So I definitely.
Was there anything at the top of the ramp that happened because of that?
No,
or?
I had a lot of people cheering me on. Tyler came over and apologized.
So it was one of those deals. His entire crew it was like basically acknowledging what you did was correct.
No, I don't think they liked that. They didn't think that, at that given time, I don't believe they thought that there was any ill intent on his move. But we've all moved on past that. Me and Tyler and Brian all visit. And, there's just things that happen that, make stories like this, and everybody.
Well, here we go. All right, we'll move on. Favorite bacon story?
Favorite bacon story? Probably with.
I've heard there's a lot of these bacon stories.
I don't have very many bacon stories besides hanging out with his mom down in Mexico.
What do you mean?
She's a good time. We had a trip planned a year ago, and some of our friends.
Your wife is there. You can't tell this story, I don't think.
No, it's not that type of story.
Hey, it's Oklahoma. Shit's weird.
The last minute, Kelly and Leon, which is Brady's parents, they hopped on our trip because we'd rented a house. So we spent a week with him, and Kelly's a hoot. But no, I mean, Brady and I've grown up racing together for, since 2000, probably 1999 or 2000, racing restricted micros out of Port City. But no, me and Brady, we've kind of done the same thing. Obviously, he's been able to make a career out of racing that, that I wanted at one time, but I don't think I want it anymore.
This is a good one. And there's a lot of dining options in this, all kinds of things. Greg McCord is the douchebag that says, ask him how his drive home from Shootout was last night.
It wasn't bad, Greg, because
no Cloud 9 or eggs and legs till 4.
No, because old Shaggy told me, he's like, hey, figure out how to get that car home. And so
your attention automatically switched. You had other shit to worry about instantly.
Yeah, I just had to hurry up, and before it got any later, I was like, the only way I can get it home is I got to go to our shop and get a trailer and come back. So we hauled ass and went and got the trailer and came back and brought a 10J chassis home.
Well, there you go, Greg McCord, you asshole. He's a working guy, you figured it out. It looks like that's it. It's the core. Somebody said it's the score. Need new ones. Their favoritism with them. Oh, they're calling them out still. Everybody seems pissed about this. What? What? We got a background noise. What'd you say?
Old lady.
What'd you say?
Well, Greg's part of the Hard A crew, and I kind of had on my way back.
Hold on, is all these crew on the midget team talking shit to you about it or something? Are they giving you a hard time about it all, or what?
So what he's saying is because my phone was blowing up last night, and
I'm sure
I did hit a curb on my way back with my trailer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, but you didn't hit the cone on the track.
I didn't hit the cone.
But you hit a curb.
I did hit a curb.
Did you bust a rim on it or what?
It's got a little ding in it, but it's still holding there. So
I heard it was very cold up there. How cold is it right now in Tulsa?
We had a nice day today, but last night when we got out to the car from the shootout, we had a little frost on the window. I think it was right at 33, 34.
See, that's so crazy. I'm up here in Pennsylvania right now, and they've been telling me, the winters are crazy. It's been 40 degrees. It's 34 right now, 50. I mean, we got some snow, but people underestimate how cold that Texas, Tulsa area can get up there. It gets cold.
It gets nasty. We've had more snow in the last 2 weeks than we have in 3 or 4 years. Now, normally we get a lot more snow in probably these next 2 months, and it's usually always crappy.
Well, and honestly, my worst experience ever in any weather, of course, last year I drove 70,000 miles, 2019. Well, I've drove a good amount this year, but the worst weather I ever experienced was when I was at the Chili Bowl one year, and everybody kind of heard like snow or rain, and then we go out to the parking lot, and everything looks fine. And then you get up to the car, and it's got like 3 inches of ice on the damn thing.
Yeah.
Everything was see-through. It was pure ice.
Yeah. I left my car there that year.
That was horrible. I got in the car and drove to Texas. I ain't scared. That's what I did that night. I got in the car and drove to Texas. I mean, I slid out a few times, but hey, man, I got the racer mentality. That's the fun part.
Counter steer.
Hey, and your front wheel. Hey, and the car's front wheel drive, so it's all good. That's a good question. Before we get out of here, what is your opinion on the Bristol Dirt Nationals?
So is that the Cup race?
No, that's the. They got 4 races scheduled now. The first race they're going to have when they put dirt back on Bristol is called the Bristol Dirt Nationals, and it's 7 classes of cars.
Okay, so it's wing sprint cars.
No. They're running super late models, crate late model, all that crap. Then they're running open modifieds, IMCA style, blah, blah, blah. And then they're running Hornets at Bristol. Yeah, see how you just laughed? That was basically the reaction of the racing world. They're running Hornets.
Think that track is too big for anything smaller than a full World of Outlaw late model.
Yeah, but they're running everything there.
Well, I mean, maybe if it gets some of those NASCAR fans involved with that.
I did a show with the promoter, Barry Braun. He's actually, I kind of partnered with the whole situation. I'm kind of going to be an on-screen entertainer, talent type person on the broadcast this year. But because I was confused, I really didn't like the idea. I thought it was just another way to make, dirt look, lower form, all that grassroots crap. But he actually has a bright outlook on the sport, and he's helped a lot of that stuff happen. And he said they're going to, be big time on the safety. They're going to check welds. They're going to check everything. Because I was telling him, like, some of these people building Hornets, they just throw some bars in the car and weld them. They don't really, you want to kill somebody, send a damn little 1995 Chevy Cavalier into turn one at Bristol. That sounds like a very scary situation, but they are going to have World of Outlaw late model sprint car, big blocks after the Cup race. This Bristol Dirt Nationals, though, will be the first race back on the track a week before the Cup race.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of, and I joked about it, but it literally is a packing the track event for the Cup Series. Literally, that's the goal.
Yeah, to make it figure out what I got to do. I mean, I'm going to watch that Cup race.
But it's going to be slower than street stocks. In fact, the only class that's probably going to go faster or slower than the Cup cars at Bristol is probably going to be the Hornets, and they might be similar in lap times. They really might be similar in lap times, man. I mean, these Cup cars are junk cars. I mean, they're not junk cars, but they're not dirt cars, I don't know if you saw that video a couple years ago where a guy took a dirt late model and went to a short asphalt track. I mean, he's out there Tokyo drifting it, because the car is a dirt car. That's how it drives around the corner. It's sideways, jacked up, three-wheeling, and that's kind of how the trucks looked at Eldora, and the Cup cars are going to look at Bristol. They're going to look like asphalt cars on a dirt surface. They're not really going to drive too much different, I don't think.
No, because I'm assuming it'll be like Eldora, where it's going to be smooth and hell, it may even be rubbered up. Right.
It's not like they got 4-link suspension. It's not like they're running on bars and coilovers, It's going to, I don't know. I told the guy the one thing that's missing is the Silver Crown race there. I think that would be entertaining.
Yeah, I think that's a track that would complement them.
What do you think of the Silver Crown class? I've been hinting here recently. I think to get dirt to a big state once again, you kind of need the Silver Crown division to become a big deal once again. People forget Silver Crown races in the 70s was paying, sometimes 2 times as much as a NASCAR race. The only thing that was paying more was like Indianapolis. That's why you had a lot of IndyCar drivers running Silver Crown cars. That used to be a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, and even today, Silver Crown still pays more than like sprint cars. So that's kind of where they're putting, midgets are probably the best, product for television, but the money wise is bigger in the Silver Crown. But
I think it's the best product to rent out to little kids and get them. I think that's what it's there for. It's there to get kids to train a little bit, but it's also there to get the parents of that kid trained of how the racing world works.
It's became that way, and that probably started around 2008, 2007 is kind of when I started in midgets, and that's kind of where.
Yeah, well, and Bell and Larson, and that's another reason I don't like Bell and Larson in a way. Not them, but the perception, the way they're used, is because they're the reason that these people are renting these midgets out. They're the example of the success. And it really goes back to Jeff Gordon, who started the whole 5-year-old in a go-kart, 14-year-old in sprint car trend. It really goes back to him. But the current midget situation, for sure, is because of Larson and Bell.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think uh, there wasn't anybody since Larson or before Larson that I don't believe had that much success, short of Clausen.
Tony Stewart did it.
Yeah,
He did Triple Crown.
I think that, I mean, not to take anything away from some of those guys, I think it's probably tougher now.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, well, Jeff Gordon honestly originally did it too because he went to midgets. You know, originally he got famous with that Diet Pepsi car on Thursday Night Thunder.
Yeah.
You know, and I call him Cole Trickle because they were basically the same characters. But
Yep.
I kind of think that might be as well why the dirt world kind of shifted to sprint car guys and NASCAR being the hot ticket item. Is you know, movies influence the masses, man, and when you have Batman all of a sudden in the real world, it's probably pretty impactful. I say it all the time. Nobody wanted a black Trans Am with the gold eagle on the hood because the local mechanic had one. That's not why they want that Trans Am, buddy. You know, they want it because it was a movie. It was trendy. But anyway, yeah, I don't know how to look at that. I just think that the Silver Crown car needs to get back to being, you know, a top level deal. Because you look back on it, you had Kinzer, you had Swindell, you had the big names of sprint car racing used to, you know, make sure to get to those races because of how much they paid sometimes. You know, it was a big deal.
Yeah, and that's some of the stuff that you may be more of the buff and the history stuff than I am.
What's your schedule? You ain't got one lined up this year? Why ain't you driving one?
Silver Crown?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
What's your schedule? What's your schedule looking like? Before we let you go here, I'm going to let you go so you don't, so you can get up at the crack of dawn, barrel up hay or whatever you got to do. I don't know, but
no, I got a weed.
Well, at least you ain't got to comb your hair anymore.
No.
What's your schedule?
I haven't even really seen it, but there's a couple USAC shows in the summer that come through Oklahoma that we'll do the the Turnpike Challenge, and I think USAC's going to be coming early spring.
Yeah, don't they do that Port City deal or Red River and all that? The little swing.
Yeah. I don't know. There's usually a series in March or 1st of April, and then USAC comes back in July. So we'll do any of those that are close because just trying to make sure we get the all my guys can go that we need to help because obviously I can't do it by myself. So we got to make sure guys are there that can be there, and we try to just go to the ones that we can go there and come back. That way, all of our wives we're still married and we haven't lost everything we own. So we gotta keep.
Wives are replaceable.
I don't know. I got a good one. I can't replace her.
Husbands are too. That's what's running through their mind apparently. I can get another one of these. They gone too long.
Oh, she can't get another one of me.
Hey, hey, if you're worried, I'm just saying. No, so you ain't getting no rides offered to you. You're mainly just doing your own thing, or what?
Yeah,
Nobody's offering you to throw you in this or throw you in that.
I'd be open to anything.
Okay. Well, here's another thing that people rent Chili Bow rides out for. They think if they rent out a ride and perform real well at the Chili Bow, they're going to get some national name all of a sudden, and people are going to put them in their race cars. You could be an example to dispel that in a way.
Well, I think you're right. I think I've made a few contacts and I've had some activity with some guys that have helped let me run their stuff, but at the same time, you got an option of me who I'm not going to bring any money. Hopefully I'm going to bring
talent,
result
performance.
Or they can get somebody in there and say it's $5,000 on a night, and it's going to cost them $2,000, $2,500 probably to run it and be a competitive car. And now they just made $2,500 and they're going to lose $2,500 if I come in.
So renting out a midget ride to become racing world famous isn't very at the Chili Bow per se to try to make a racing name really ain't going to do it too much.
Unless
you got money to do what you already can't do. That's what you just said.
I know that, money. The one thing is, I think those guys that do that, they've got to have the guys that have money to help fund to get a guy, say like me or Bell or Larson, anybody like them, that they need the money to get that guy.
Well, I think we got two issues there. One issue is the pay for the races to win.
Yeah.
If it's making more money to rent a car out than it is to win the damn race, then you got a big problem. Or to finish fifth. And I think the main reason that these races ain't paying like they used to, per se, or make profitable abilities, is because of how, unrelevant the sport is. So the stands aren't packed, so you're not making enough money through the front gate to pay big purses in the back gate. Most of your races now are funded through pit passes.
Yep.
So we don't have a big crowd to pay for a big purse. We need to get our sport more relevant so that we have more money to use to pay more to win. That's the win factor's the problem. Most of your people's going to walk out of there, profiting more than the feature winner at the Chili Bowl.
Yes.
From ring rides. So, anyway.
Yeah. No, right. I've kind of figured out, money is still pretty important in this role, and I'm thankful that right now my money isn't, I just get to drive it, and I'm not really investing hardly. It's just my time, and obviously my time is very valuable, but I still love the sport, and that's why I do it.
Right. Okay. Well, hopefully you can get this damn driller this next week. hopefully June 6th there isn't some crazy political war in Washington, D.C. There's supposed to be all kinds of crazy shit going on then. I am somewhat slightly worried about all that, I'm being honest. That's some crazy stuff could go down. You never know with these political sides out there nowadays.
Yeah, I hope you're wrong, and anybody else that's thinking that is wrong, but you don't know. There's people that got more stroke than us, and Emmett Hahn that could probably screw up something good.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how it works. Oh, well, I guess we'll see you in the Hard 8 car winning. And have you got a lot of friend requests through this whole deal? Have you become somewhat of a fan? Have you noticed that at all through all this hecticness?
I think there's some people that enjoyed, probably me being maybe an adult about the whole thing.
They probably enjoyed you being an adult. You know what I mean by that? They probably enjoyed you being, of age.
And not a kid.
Yeah, not some little snot-nosed kid. I forgot who it was earlier in the week. He literally went in the corner and ran over the guy's right rear and flipped. It was the beginning of the day. I think it was the first race Saturday. And he got on there, some of these dumbass kids. And it's like, come on, dude. You didn't even do nothing wrong. But, there is that kind of, and I think that's why this is a very interesting time to start giving clout and attention to the older people. There's a lot of people out there really not liking little bitty kids. Tony Stewart kind of leads that charge. Obviously, I've been leading it. There's a little bit of a harsh sentiment towards little kids or younger people who are talented but obviously have the funding. It seems like that's not cool as much as it used to be.
Yeah, I think there's just those fads, and they'll all come and go. And, there was one time where that was like, maybe everybody idolized it, and now everybody, you get wrecked by somebody like that, and now you're sick of them.
So, back to it.
Back to what?
Back to the situation.
What
Did you get any clout? Did you get
Oh,
status?
no. I nobody's offered me a NASCAR ride.
What about fan-wise? Have you got that much attention at least? Is this the most you've ever gotten attention after something happening at the Expo Center? Because this was pretty big and a lot of people were watching it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Prelim night win might not have been as much as this, as far as attention.
Yeah, I would say attention as far as just from everybody. or the whole world, and that's what stinks. There's nobody racing in America, just over in Australia they are. So all eyes are on the Tulsa Shootout, and
it was on Flow, a big time network that people have a subscription to. They may watch late models or modifieds or whatever.
yeah,
They now are watching it,
yeah.
So
No, I mean, I said, seems like just seeing some of the stuff online that everybody has some of their mixed reviews on how it went or if it was handled right or not. But like I said, I think as heated as I was inside with my helmet on, and I think to be able to get out and not make an ass of myself, I was pretty proud of that. And I think the mask, good thing is it couldn't show any of my facial expressions because I could, I knew I wasn't smiling, but
you were scared of the twisted T.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure that's what happened there. You're scared of getting the twisted T.
Yeah, I mean, I want that. Just even for my family, I don't want nobody to think, that I'm a shithead or whatever you could come up with that could have been. So
people are thinking you're a shithead just for thinking that it's not a right call.
Oh yeah, you're right.
People get mad at me sometimes, for saying this or that. At least I say it. There's so many people out there talking bad about you behind your back, and they won't ever even say what they think. They'll just tell you what you want to hear, and there's no way you can please anybody. You can't be, no matter how much you want to be the perfect you, there's people that are going to find something wrong with you.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I've seen some of your stuff that you definitely well, but I think I, let everybody know how I felt in probably the nicest, or, their smartest,
cordial.
Yeah.
Cordial. We'll throw a big white person name out there. Cordial.
But if looking back on it, I think, I don't envy them to make any of those calls. I think, if that's the type of racing they want at a start finish line, I think the one thing that they could do is move the cone up the track. It was down.
Or just call a duck all the time.
Or yeah. Let it race. If there's a white line, if that's your start line or whatever that they say on a double file restart, then if you see the green flag, it's live. Or go off the goddamn transponder, because if you watch that right there, the transponder would have showed that I was behind them. So
I think there was no doubt that you were behind them. I think, from my understanding, they're just saying because you were trying to advance. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
that's ridiculous. We see that all week long. That's why I say the bigger problem here, and it's just like the Bell situation, is if you're gonna call a duck, call a duck all the time. It's the judgment calls, And if it's wrong, then do it. Say it's wrong to everybody. Because if they're going to do what they did to you there's about 150 other people that got away with it this week.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Well, and there was definitely more, like I said, it's one thing to make like those rough driving calls. But this... this for the lead at a prestigious race, and and then
the sour motor, you add that in there.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody you can't hear it probably out there, but you could probably start seeing it. The guys running.
We can see it on the little video I put up.
And like
you can see him down the back straightaway, just all of a sudden lose ground to you and him when he's getting back in the gas down the back straightaway. You could see it right there going in it wasn't necessarily going away there on that down the back straightaway after you went green, but front straightaway you could see it just laying over.
Yeah. I think, obviously, Keith's probably said it best. Just make it easy for, in some of these calls, don't make. I don't know. There's always going to be somebody getting fucked or screwed by something, and there's just no way around it. But
yeah, I just think it's fine if you want to have that rule. Just like it's fine if you want to have the rule you can't go through the infield. But
yeah,
just call it the same way every time. Your move or your situation is definitely not as easy to call blatantly as the infield moves are. And we already saw them misjudge that on who to blame or whatever.
yeah.
This on the other hand was just ridiculous. I don't know. I think it goes back to the Bell Beason deal at Port City, dude. I think there's a click situation happening. That's what I think personally. I think that's why they had it out for you last year and they had it out for you this year. It goes back to that whole situation, guaranteed. It's an elitism click.
Well, I hope you're wrong, but if you're right, then you're a smart bastard.
I shouldn't have told you. Now you're gonna start thinking about it, man. Did they really? Now every time, now next time they do some blatant bullshit, you're gonna be like, "Fuck you!" Just because I beat Bell's ass at Port City, fuck you. You're gonna go off on him now because you're gonna know what it is. Now you're gonna know what it is.
Oh, now I'm not gonna sleep tonight.
Oh, yep, that's right. Now, and you ain't got no hair to caress in your hands and calm you down. So. You're in for the ride now. I guess we'll let you go. It is closing in on 2 hours. I know you got to go to work. And who knows in how many ways. Your wife is there. So, anything else you want to say? Is there anything else? Are you proud you finally got on the show?
Yeah, I think I've watched as much things as I can or have time to watch of you, and spent some time with you there at the shootout, the previous year. And I
had a decent show there. Not on camera, but a decent show at the 10J chassis area last year. It was fun. And I think some of the stuff I do is trying to give some status to the guys that don't get any no more. It's so sad in the racing world. That little rich people are the only ones that are viewed as the greatest or anything like that, or the best or up and coming. It's just unfortunate that the workers and the ones that really, this is America, where the ones that work really hard, the American dream, work really hard to accomplish something great. That's not even possible in the racing world. I don't care how many opportunities 14-year-olds get, Larson, Bell, all of them going on. You didn't go out, I said it, and mow enough yards to afford a 410 sprint car team. You can't do that. I tried. It didn't work. All I could afford was an Xbox, or it was PS2 at the time. But that's the problem. I think we need to start giving that recognition and credit to the ones who are, doing that. So, and you're kind of a poster boy for that in a way, to be honest. I mean, you're out there doing it and you're getting ignored. You're not getting the clout. I think that's why they could say you're, under the radar, because it's not a sexy position to celebrate, a 9-to-5 worker out there kicking ass. That's not the cool status position anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll stop. I'll start screaming and go on a rant if I keep talking about it. But I'll see you at the Chili Bowl. I'll be there. I'll be hanging out with Kyle Larson all week.
Well, good. Bring me over so we can have some beers with him.
Apparently, everyone in the world that hates or thinks people hate me, they like me a lot. I've been with. I don't know if you saw it, but I just got through helping sell the whole Kyle Larson racing team. Here in PA. And I've been doing it with a guy named Sam with JVI, who's a sponsor of Kyle's sprint car stuff. And he's the guy who actually purchased it to sell here in Pennsylvania. And then he told me today how, we got your hotel room on the same wing as me, Kyle, and everyone else. I was like, what? Don't do that. We're going to get in a fight in the fucking hallway, or some shit. His little tire changer is going to tackle me or something. And then Hey, dude, I'm telling you, I ain't ever worried about the drivers, especially in sprint car. Late model modified world, I'm not worried about the drivers, but in the sprint car world, it's all these little kids. I'm worried about that tire changer. Where you at? I'm looking around for that guy who's ready to die and go. I'm ready for that guy that they bailed out more than once. You know what I'm saying? So, and I ain't got no money to get bailed out. I might now though. So look out, people. But and then he said no, he's like, the dude who got me the hotel room, he said, the JVI guy, he's like, no, some Finley guy, or Justin Finley, I think it is, said, no, he wants to see the Chaz and hang out with the Chaz, and that's Finley Farms on Larson's car. So, apparently all these people, want to hang out with the Chaz. I'm just hoping the plan isn't to get me drunk and then tie me up in a room and teach me a lesson or something. I just hope that's not the situation. I'm just hoping I don't wake up drunk with a bloody nose and Caitlin's got a strap on ready to show me who I am or something. That's what I am worried about personally right now.
Oh, you're funny.
It's not funny. That is not funny at all.
That would be funny, but it's funny coming out of your mouth.
That is not funny at all. It's not funny. I'm scared of that.
I think if people were around you in person, because like I was, I mean, they would enjoy you.
Yeah, that's what that JVI said. It's like, he's weird. It's weird. He's supposed to be this big fucking asshole, and he's like a good person. What the fuck?
Yeah, people can be, I mean.
I don't fake it when I get on camera. It's just I'm talking about what, when I get mad about the Larson and Bales, it's about the roles that they're playing in the system. It's not necessarily them.
Yeah.
It's their roles. And just me sitting back and saying, if you go out and beat Larson at the Chili Bowl prelim night, say you and him have a badass duel for 25 laps and you beat him. And I go out there and say, see, Johnathan Beason, one of the greatest in America. He beat him. They'll say that's me hating on Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
They're not that's where this whole thing kind of happens. That's where you get this. And then I get pissed off because I'm trying to explain it to these people and they're just delusional. They're caught up in it's a weird Justin Bieber worship syndrome. It's weird. It's like Kyle Larson's their god or something.
Yeah, and I sure don't think either of those two probably cared for it to be that way if they can't control it.
I know. When I talked to Larson at Port Royal, I was kind of like that. That's pretty much what he said. So. It seems like that's going good, but I don't know if I can be buddies with Bill, man. I'm watching him do too much stuff. I just don't know it. Heard too many stories too. There's some bad stories out there.
Well, thankfully I could care less about any of the drama because I don't have time for it. So
you got to cut yards. I got it. You got to mow yards. Okay. Okay. Turnpike Challenge winner from 2019. Okay.
Yeah. Second place, Tulsa Shootout.
And now we know why. Hey, man. The reason, we was talking earlier about humans getting out of the cave and going and dominating the world, that started with fire. Fire is kind of what, took us to that next level, and that's taking two sticks and putting them together and making fire, So you got to do that in this world, And I'm showing you a stick, Johnathan, with that Turnpike Challenge incident, and this other stick with what happened last night. And I'm telling you right now, there's some fire there, damn it. I'm telling you that the elite classism cliques are after you because of that. That's what I think's going on.
Well, there's more of me than just, there's more guys like me than me. So hopefully it'll rub off on somebody else.
Maybe we should have a Black Lives Matter protest at the Chili Bowl. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Johnny's lives matter.
Johnny's lives matter? Okay. All right, that's top of the hour. We had you for 2 hours. I didn't mean to go that long. I'm sorry. Hopefully most people were entertained. The viewers have dropped. We're seeing a 39 right now. Really do miss Kevin out there.
Well, if you get bored and I do something spectacular again, we'll get back on here.
Maybe live at the Chili Bowl, if you can handle the yelling and stuff, because, when people are around and something just happened, I get pissed off. Did you see my video where I was talking about what happened to you?
Yeah, my wife showed it to me last night.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was great. That's what'll be at the Chili Bowl. I mean, so if you want to be in that, that's fine. obviously I was at Shawn Michaels last night, and he'll be bringing 2 cars, and he'll have Chase Johnson in one of his. So I think that's going to be a heavy hitter.
Yeah, he'll be good. We'll see how Tuesday night rolls around, me and Larson again, and see if we can't give you something to talk about.
Oh, God. Oh, God. You and Bell. You and Bell. This is the drama, is you and Bell. I'm telling you right now, it goes back to that Port City race. I've connected the damn dots. Kevin Woody is in the chats now. He's going to be racing, of course, one of the Buckwalter cars, but it's too late, Kevin. You can't talk now because the old white man has to go to work in the morning, Kevin. That's just what it is, all right? Although Kevin's probably got to go to work in the morning, too.
Yeah, but you're an hour ahead, so.
Oh, okay. Let's see what it is. He's got combat cleaning services, so if you need some he'll bring his gear down and clean up the trailer carpet or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I would do if I was him, upgrade his ride. But anyway, we'll let you go.
Well, Chaz, it's been fun.
I tried. Hopefully you don't get in trouble for this. I'm worried about being banned from the building with all I've been saying, but fuck it. Oh, well. Hopefully you are safe.
I should be.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling in. It was entertaining. We got a lot of people, talked about a bunch of shit, and it's not over yet. We still got another week to go on this stuff.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
If you need a sprint car, let me know. Okay? I got a couple right now.
If you hear of any rides, then you let me know.
Oh, okay. I can do that. I'll do that.
My wife wants to go to Florida in February, so.
Oh, really?
So
you're looking for a midget for that?
Yeah, I mean, if there's
That's
something.
Bubba, correct?
I don't know that's where they were last year. So.
Well, it seems like the only track that even hosts them over there, but people's been mixing up their schedules now. I think COVID helped a lot with branching racing out everywhere a little bit too.
Yeah.
So, okay, we'll work on that. We may figure some shit out. We'll see.
Yeah, and we'll see you tomorrow or probably Sunday.
Yes, we will be there Sunday. We'll be there Sunday. Alrighty.
Sounds good. See you, Chaz.
We'll see it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. I will be getting out of here as well here very soon. Once again, the Chaz and Amsoil have partnered. Chaz and Amsoil together. You can check out this show and others on the podcast. Look on all major podcasting platforms. I also got some music out. All Apple, iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff. It's up there. And we'll go ahead and leave y'all with the Chili Bow song, ladies and gentlemen. We got the Chili Bow song. We just got through talking to Johnathan Beason. And that means one thing. That means the Chili Bow is coming.
Are you ready? Let's go. I don't give a Chili Bow coming. Chili Bow coming. Chili Bow, Chili Bow, Chili Bow coming. I got that north side with me, and I don't give a. I got that south side in me, and I don't give a. Yeah, the Chili Bow is coming, and you see you can't ignore it. Yeah, attention's on the track, cause the action isn't boring. This is actually the best. Not cup breaks that make you snoring. Their best attempt to wake you with a Bubba Wallace story. See, I'm rolling it high, rolling it low, rolling the car, that's where it goes. Go for the pack, give us a last. Go for the pass, and I'm chopping your nose, and I'm chopping it low, and I'm cutting your hose. I'm going all in for the drill I hold. If you take me out, I'll kick your ass unless you're taller than me, though. But then there are those that don't work on the stuff. Only there for fame, not the loyalty or love. Yeah, they put up the cash, better hurry up and make the cut, and that's a short story too. I don't give a Chili Bow coming, Chili Bow coming, Chili Bow, Chili Bow, Chili Bow coming.